Chair recognizes the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Jackson Lee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for this hearing along with the ranking member. Let me quickly go into my line of questioning by first of all saying to Mr. Rasmussen that I have the passion and the members of this committee and our chairman and ranking member have the passion, and we are very grateful for your testimony. I want to emphasize where we are today by referring to the FBI's comment about the salad bowl. And I want to offer my deepest sympathy again for my friends in Colleyville, the horrific terrorist act, and I'm glad that the FBI corrected its language. It was domestic terrorism, it was terrorism. And of course, January 6th and the big lie, and the Boogaloo movement, along with the enormity of domestic terrorists who are growing every day. And you're right, it is being fueled by our social media. Although I want to emphasize as well a First Amendment protection. So social media ran ads in the last 2 months, pretty ads introducing their content people and saying, we want the federal government to give us our directions, our guidance, our laws. Can you be specific as relates to these mega sites as to what you would like us to do very quickly? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I'm not sure I can be specific because I don't speak for tech companies in terms of what they would want to see from a new legislative framework. Each of the companies will have their own view on the wisdom of particular pieces of legislation, and we don't take an organizational view in that regard. I will say, though, that when companies in the past have been dealing with issues like terrorism and violent extremism online, they benefit from clarity when it comes from definitional frameworks or prescribing of groups so that they know clearly and unambiguously what content can be deemed illegal by the federal government, for example. In the case of the GIF-CT, we operate with our hash sharing database using the a UN list of global terrorists and global terrorist organizations. That is a way for us to rely on a framework that is transparent, visible to all, and doesn't involve kind of random decision-making inside companies. So,
thank you.
Ma'am, I'm not sure I can give you more than that.
Thank you. Mr. Greenblatt, let me ask you the same question and how we can be effective on helping to ensure that there is responsiveness. Let me comment on my desires. I sit on the Judiciary Committee, and Homeland works very carefully overlapping on some of these issues. I frankly believe the FBI should become more intense. There should be more funding. There should be a larger section dealing with domestic terrorism, and as well having a component that deals with what is happening on these sites. Mr. Greenblatt, would you respond, please?
Well, thank you, Congresswoman, for the question. Look, the ADL has said time and time again that the social media companies are fully aware of what's going on. So I will, and they know. And one of the outcomes or the insights from the whistleblower, her revelations last summer, Madam Congresswoman, was that we learned that Facebook was tracking everything. Frankly, Madam Congresswoman, they knew more. It was worse than we thought, and they knew it all along. So I will credit the Algorithmic Justice and Online Transparency Act that would prevent or at least prohibit harmful and discriminatory algorithms, among other measures. I mean, we need legislation like that and others to address online hate immediately, because we have to keep in mind, big tech's business model optimizes for engagement, and hateful, racist, anti-Semitic content is highly engaging. Therefore, it is, amplified by the algorithms. And while I deeply believe in freedom of speech, Congresswoman, let's keep in mind, freedom of speech is not freedom of reach. So the companies are making a decision when they privilege that information. They don't have to publish it.
And you can't cry fire in a crowded theater. I am truly with
Exactly.
you. I will accept your challenge and we'll be working with you. Mr. Chairman, I want to add into the record an article from the Washington Post that indicates the heinous acts of bomb threats to historically Black colleges as unanimous consent. I'd like to read into the record: Russ College, Tougaloo College, Jackson State, Alcorn, Mississippi Valley State, Fort Valley University, Spelman, Morgan State, Coppin State University, Harris Stowe State University, Missouri, in Missouri, Kentucky State, have Xavier, Philander Smith, Edward Waters, Howard University, which is happening a bomb threat right now. This is a crisis, and I want to join with my colleague for legislation dealing with our social media, but as well, I'm going to ask that the officials from Homeland Security, in collaboration with the FBI, develop a deeper dive, a much more intense area of focus on domestic terrorism. We have to stop it. Lives are being lost, and it is absolutely untenable for this to continue. Thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman.